Picture this: a single raindrop tracing a slow, deliberate path down a window pane, catching the faint glow of a street lamp outside. That's where I find myself tonight, in the quiet of our living room, the world beyond blurred by the storm. I'm Adriana, 77 years young, or so I tell myself, sitting here with a glass of Merlot in hand, the deep red catching the dim light of a nearby lamp. My husband, Mark, is upstairs in his study, as he often is these days, buried in spreadsheets or whatever it is that keeps him tethered to his desk long after the sun has set. We've been married for over 50 years, and to the outside world, we're the golden couple, the ones who've figured it all out. Look at us, they say. Look at Adriana and Mark with their empire of small businesses, boutique cafes, a little real estate here and there that still hum along like well-oiled machines even in our retirement. Look at the photos we post, the ones where we're sipping cocktails on a beach in Bali or laughing over pasta in some cobblestoned Italian village. Our social media is a gallery of perfection, each image polished to a shine, proof of a life well lived. And our home? Oh, it's a masterpiece. A sprawling modern marvel with floor-to-ceiling windows that frame a garden so lush it could be a painting. Inside, everything is sleek. Marble countertops, abstract art on the walls, a dining room that's hosted countless dinner parties where the wine flows and the laughter echoes. Friends, colleagues, even strangers of the grocery store, they all say the same thing. You two still look so in love. What's your secret? I smile, always, and murmur something vague about communication or shared hobbies. But the truth sits heavy in my chest. Because here's the thing no one sees. Mark and I, we don't touch anymore. Not a hand on the shoulder, not a brush of fingers as we pass in the hallway. Nothing. We sleep in the same king-sized bed every night, but it might as well be a canyon between us. I lie there, staring at the ceiling, listening to the rhythm of his breathing. And I wonder what he's thinking about on his side of the divide. Are we even in the same universe anymore? Our days are parallel lines, running side by side but never meeting. I move through the house, tending to the garden or rearranging the already perfect decor, while he disappears into his work, his world of numbers and plans. We speak, of course, polite exchanges about dinner or the weather, but it's all surface, a script we've memorized. Tonight, though, the rain seems to press against the silence, amplifying it. I'm flipping through old photo albums, the kind with sticky pages and faded Polaroids, relics from a time when our smiles weren't just for the camera. There's one of us at 25, standing on a pier somewhere, wind in our hair, and I can almost feel the salt on my lips, the warmth of his arm around me. That memory fades as I hear the creak of the stairs, a slow, deliberate descent that pulls me back to the present. My heart gives a little thud, not out of excitement, but something closer to unease. Mark's footsteps echo through the house, steady and purposeful, until he appears in the doorway of the living room. He's holding a tablet, its screen casting a faint blue glow across his face, and there's a glint in his eye I can't quite place. Is it anticipation or something darker? I can't tell. He's tall, wiry, his frame still imposing even at 78. His silver hair is neatly combed as always, and his tailored shirt hangs on him with a quiet dignity, a reminder of the confident, commanding man I fell for all those years ago. But now there's a distance in the way he carries himself, like he's holding something back. He doesn't come to sit beside me on the couch. Instead, he chooses the armchair across the room, setting the tablet down on the coffee table between us. The silence stretches, heavy and thick, broken only by the patter of rain against the windows. I wait, my fingers curling a little tighter around the stem of my wine glass, the cool glass grounding me as I watch him. Finally he speaks, his voice low, almost too casual. Adriana, I came across something interesting online today. A psychological experiment for couples. Thought it might be worth a try. I blink, caught off guard. A psychological experiment. My brow furrows as I try to process this, confusion mixing with a sharp edge of skepticism. What kind of experiment? I ask, my tone cautious, searching his face for any hint of what he's getting at. He leans back in the chair, folding his hands in his lap, and explains that it's supposed to help partners reconnect, to bridge gaps through unconventional means. But he's vague, too vague, offering no real details, just broad strokes about trust and understanding. His eyes don't quite meet mine as he talks, and that glint is still there, flickering like a distant warning light. I take a sip of my Merlot, the bitter tang sharp on my tongue, and let his words settle. Reconnect. That word hits hard, stirring up a rush of memories I've tried to keep buried. I see us at our wedding, swaying to a slow song under a canopy of fairy lights, my head on his chest as the world melted away. I remember Paris in our 30s, sharing a croissant at a tiny cafe by the Seine, laughing over nothing at all. I can still hear the echo of our laughter from those days, bright and unforced, a sound I haven't heard in years. My chest aches with the weight of it, with the desperate, foolish hope that maybe, just maybe, we could feel something again. I look at him, at the man who's been a stranger in so many ways, and I feel that ache deepen. A few days after that conversation in the living room, I found myself agreeing to Mark's suggestion, though every instinct screamed caution. Maybe it was the loneliness, or maybe it was the flicker of hope that we could rediscover something lost. Either way, here I am, stepping out of a sleek black car that dropped me off at an unassuming building on the edge of town, a place that looks more like a medical facility than anything else. The air is crisp, biting at my skin as I walk through the glass doors, my heels clicking against the polished floor. The receptionist barely looks up, just points me down a long, sterile hallway with fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. My stomach churns with nerves, a mix of anticipation and dread, as I make my way to the very end, where a heavy door waits, unmarked but somehow ominous. I push it open, and the first thing that hits me is the silence. It's not just quiet, it's suffocating, like the room is cut off from the world. A small, soundproof space greets me, the walls a stark white that seems to glow under soft, diffused lighting. There's no harsh glare here, no shadows to hide in, just an eerie, even illumination that makes everything feel exposed. In the center of the room sits a single chair, cold and metallic, with a microphone on a stand positioned right in front of it, like it's waiting to capture every word, every breath. The air feels heavy, almost clinical, and I can't shake the sense that I'm being watched. Even though I see no cameras, no windows, then I notice him, Jason. He's standing near the far wall, tall and imposing, with sharp features that seem carved from stone. He's in his late 40s, I'd guess, dressed in a dark shirt that stands out against the sterile surroundings, the fabric clinging to his frame in a way that suggests quiet strength. His gaze is piercing, like he's looking right through me, peeling back layers I've spent years building up. As he steps forward, I catch a subtle whiff of his cologne, something woody and sharp, lingering just a little too close as he closes the distance between us. His voice, when he speaks, carries a quiet authority, each word measured and deliberate, like he's used to being obeyed. "Welcome, Adriana," he says, and there's a weight to the way he says my name, like he already knows too much. "I'm Jason. I'll be guiding you through this today." My heart is already racing as I lower myself into the chair, the metal cool against my skin, my hands trembling just enough that I clasp them together to hide it. Jason moves closer, his presence overwhelming in this confined space, and I feel the air shift, like it's charged with something I can't name. He explains the experiment in a low, steady tone, his eyes never leaving mine. "This is about the edge of intimate perception," he says, gesturing to the microphone. "Everything you feel, every reaction, will be recorded on audio for analysis. We're exploring boundaries, Adriana. How much can be felt? How much can be endured?" His words send a shiver down my spine, not just from their meaning, but from the way he delivers them, like he's testing me already. I nod, though I'm not sure I understand, my mind spinning with questions I don't dare ask. What does this have to do with reconnecting with Mark? Why am I here alone? But before I can dwell on it, Jason steps even closer, so close I can feel the warmth of him, and I freeze as his fingers lightly graze the back of my neck. It's a fleeting touch, barely there, but it's like an electric shock, jolting through me, awakening something I thought had long since gone dormant. There's fear in that moment, sharp and cold, but also a forbidden curiosity, a pull I can't explain. My breath catches, and I know the microphone is picking up every uneven gasp, every tremor in the silence. His hand lingers just a second longer than it should, and I feel my skin prickle under his touch. And then, just like that, Jason is gone. The door closes behind him with a soft click, leaving me alone in this sterile, soundproof room. I'm still sitting on the cold metal chair, my body rigid, my eyes locked on the microphone in front of me. It's as if that small, unassuming device holds every secret I've ever buried, every thought I've never dared to speak aloud. It stares back at me, silent and judgmental, its sleek surface reflecting the soft light overhead. I can almost hear it whispering, taunting me to confess, to let everything spill out into the void. The silence in here is unlike anything I've ever felt. It's not just the absence of sound, it's a presence, thick and heavy, pressing against my skin like a physical weight. It wraps around me, suffocating, making every breath feel like a struggle. I shift in the chair, the metal creaking faintly under me, and the sound seems amplified in this vacuum, a jarring intrusion into the stillness. My hands are still trembling, though I try to steady them by smoothing my hair, running my fingers through the strands with a deliberate slowness. It's a futile gesture, a desperate attempt to reclaim some semblance of control, of dignity, after what just happened. I adjust the collar of my blouse, tugging at the fabric, as if straightening it will somehow straighten out the chaos in my mind. But it doesn't. Nothing does. My thoughts are a storm, swirling and crashing against each other with no clear direction. Guilt sits heavy in my chest, a cold, hard knot that tightens with every passing second. What did I just allow to happen? Why didn't I pull away sooner? Say something. Stop it before it even started. I'm 77 years old, for heaven's sake. I should know better. I should have more strength than this. But beneath the guilt, there's something else. Something I'm almost afraid to name. A thrill. A strange, unsettling rush that I haven't felt in years, maybe decades. That fleeting touch from Jason, that electric jolt. It woke something up inside me, something I thought had died long ago. For the first time in so long, I felt alive, truly alive. My heart pounding not just from fear, but from something raw and primal. And I hate myself for it. I hate that I can't deny how it made me feel, even as I sit here drowning in shame. Jason's words keep echoing in my head, looping over and over like a broken record. How much can be felt? How much can be endured? He said it with such intention, such weight. But it's the other thing he mentioned that gnaws at me now. He said Mark wanted to know how much I can take. Those exact words. I can still hear the way his voice dipped when he said it, like it was a message meant to cut deep. Did Mark really say that? Did he tell Jason to push me? To test me in ways I couldn't anticipate? The thought sends a shiver through me, not of fear, but of something closer to betrayal. Has Mark been orchestrating this from the start? Did he know exactly what I'd be walking into when he suggested this so-called experiment? Was this his way of peeling back my layers, exposing me in ways I never agreed to? I can picture him now, sitting in his study with that tablet in hand, that glint in his eye as he pitched this idea to me. Was it all a setup? A calculated move to see how far I'd go? How much I'd let happen before I broke? I'm torn, caught between a rising anger at the possibility of his manipulation and a creeping fear of my own complicity. Did I want this, on some level? Did I let it happen because I've been so starved for feeling, for connection, that even something wrong felt like a lifeline? I press my hands against my thighs, trying to ground myself, but they're still shaking, the tremor betraying every ounce of turmoil inside me. I can't sort through it, can't make sense of the tangle of emotions knotting up my chest. All I know is that I'm angry, at Mark, at Jason, at myself most of all. I'm still in this suffocating room, the white walls closing in tighter with every breath, when I hear it. A faint sound beyond the door, a slow, deliberate rhythm of footsteps approaching. My heart, already racing from the storm of thoughts in my head, kicks into overdrive. I sit up straighter, my fingers tightening into fists on my lap, as if that could brace me for whatever's coming. The door handle turns with a soft, metallic click, and it swings open, revealing Mark standing there in the threshold. His presence fills the space instantly, even before he steps inside. And I feel the air shift, heavier now, charged with something unspoken. His footsteps are slow, measured, each one echoing in the silence of this soundproof cage as he crosses the short distance into the room. I watch him, my eyes tracing every detail, searching for something, anything, that might give me a clue to what he's thinking. But his face is a blank slate, an unreadable mask. His eyes, those familiar gray eyes I've stared into 1,000 times over the decades, avoid mine entirely. They're fixed somewhere past me, on the wall or maybe the microphone, anywhere but my face. There's a coldness in his posture, a rigidity that keeps him just inside the doorway, not daring to come closer, as if an invisible barrier stands between us. He's still the same Mark, tall, imposing, his silver hair catching the soft light. But there's something different now. Something hollow in the way he holds himself. Like he's a shell of the man I once knew. My heart is pounding so hard I'm sure it's audible. A frantic drumbeat in this oppressive quiet. I scan his face desperately for any sign of emotion, anger, hurt, even a flicker of acknowledgement about what just transpired here with Jason. But there's nothing, just an eerie, unsettling calm that makes my skin crawl. It's worse than if he'd stormed in yelling, worse than if he'd looked at me with disgust. This emptiness, this void where there should be something, anything, feels like a judgment in itself. I open my mouth to speak, to break this unbearable tension, but the words catch in my throat, trapped by the weight of his silence. Then I see it, a small flash drive clutched between his fingers, its black surface glinting faintly under the diffused lighting. My stomach drops. I know instinctively what it is before he even moves. He steps forward, just one step, closing the distance enough to reach out, and without a word he places it into my palm. His fingers brush mine for the briefest of moments, a fleeting contact that sends a jolt through me. It's the first touch in years, a ghost of something we've lost, and I flinch at the sensation, unable to stop myself. He notices. I see the tiniest flicker in his expression, a microsecond of recognition. But he doesn't react. He just pulls his hand back, retreating into that cold, detached shell as if nothing happened. His voice, when he finally speaks, is flat, devoid of any warmth or inflection. Listen to it yourself. Then we'll decide who's next. The words hang in the air, heavy and cryptic, sinking into me like stones. I'm frozen, my fingers curling around the flash drive, its edges digging into my skin as the weight of what he's said starts to unravel in my mind. Listen to it myself. He's heard it already, hasn't he? Every gasp, every tremor, every damning second of what happened in this room with Jason. It's all on there, captured in excruciating detail. This recording wasn't just for analysis, as Jason claimed. It was for him, for Mark. My chest tightens, a cold sweat prickling at the back of my neck as I realize the depth of this betrayal. Not just mine, but his. He knew. He's always known what this experiment was really about. And he let it happen. Maybe even orchestrated it. And then there's that phrase, "Who's next?" It sends a chill racing down my spine, sharp and icy, cutting through the fog of guilt and confusion. What does he mean by that? I'm back in our quiet home now, sitting alone in the same living room where this all began, where the rain once pressed against the silence, and Mark first planted the seed of this experiment. It's late, well past midnight, and the world outside is a blur of darkness and water, the rain tapping relentlessly against the windows like a code I can't decipher. The house feels emptier than ever, a hollow shell of the life we've built, even though I know Mark is upstairs in his study, probably staring at that tablet of his, lost in whatever world he escapes to. The flash drive rests on the coffee table in front of me, a small, black thing that seems to pulse with a life of its own, holding secrets I'm not sure I'm ready to face. I can't stop looking at it, can't stop feeling the weight of what it represents. I lean back into the couch, the soft leather creaking under me, and let my gaze drift to the rain-smeared glass. The dim light from the lamp casts long shadows across the room, making the familiar space feel alien, like I'm a stranger in my own story. My hands rest in my lap, fingers twitching with the urge to reach for that drive, but I hold back, caught in a storm of my own making. I can't help but think about what happened in that soundproof room with Jason. The way his touch, brief as it was, lit something inside me I thought had burned out years ago. And here's the confession I can barely admit to myself, let alone anyone else. I liked it. I liked the way it made me feel. The rush of being seen, of being felt, even if it was wrong, even if it was a betrayal of everything I've stood for in 50 years of marriage. I don't regret it, not fully. And that terrifies me more than anything. My chest tightens as I wrestle with the emotions clawing at me from every direction. There's the guilt, of course, a heavy, suffocating thing that wraps around my heart like a vice. I broke a trust, a sacred bond with Mark, even if it was just for a moment, even if it was orchestrated by forces I didn't fully understand at the time. I can still feel the ghost of Jason's fingers on my neck, the memory of that electric jolt, and it shames me to admit how alive it made me feel, how it pulled me out of the numbness that's defined my days for so long. But beneath the guilt, there's something else, something darker, a hunger, a craving for that loss of control, for the thrill of stepping over a line I never thought I'd cross. It's like a door opened inside me, one I can't seem to shut, and I'm left wondering if I even want to. Then there's the fear, cold and sharp, slicing through the haze of my thoughts. Mark's words from earlier, that cryptic, "Who's next?" keep echoing in my mind, each repetition more chilling than the last. What did he mean by that? Was it a threat, a promise, or something else entirely? I can't shake the image of his face in that sterile room, the way his gray eyes avoided mine, the way his voice was so flat, so devoid of anything I could cling to for reassurance. I've known him for over half a century, and yet in that moment, he was a stranger. I'm scared of what he might do with this knowledge, with the recording he's already heard. Does he plan to use it against me, to hold it over my head like a weapon? Or is there something more sinister at play, something tied to whatever he's scheming upstairs right now? I can hear the faint creak of the floorboards above me, a reminder of his presence, and it sends a shiver down my spine. But the fear isn't just about him. It's about me, too. I'm afraid of this part of myself I've uncovered, this hidden piece that reveled in the forbidden, that felt more alive in a single, stolen moment than I have in years of safe, predictable routine. What if I crave it again? What if I seek it out, not because I want to, but because I need to, and in doing so, unravel everything I've carefully built around me? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.